are listening to KnightCast, the official podcast of the Nightwing 01 channel. You know, that song always seems to lift my spirits. Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to KnightCast. Today, we are going to be talking about all kinds of interesting things. Patreon, Gotham's Joker, the DC Universe app, and a lot more. But before we begin with that, last night I spent a good several hours revamping the Patreon, making some really cool rewards for community-based stuff. The merch, which we're still kind of working on, but we'll be releasing something like that later this month. Mini director perks, and you don't want to make K-Wing play a bad video game. You don't want to do that. Among some other things. So, the Patreon is no longer a full-blown joke, and thank you to the 16 patrons that we received last night. So, jumping right into it, this is, of course, KnightCast, the second podcast in our series, and today we're going to be talking about Gotham's new Joker, and it's not Jerome. Now, this is going to be a spoiler discussion, so if a lot of you haven't seen Gotham the past couple weeks, then a lot of this is going to surprise you, so just letting you know that spoilers are about to happen, and just hold tight. So, as a lot of you know, again, spoilers, Jerome is finally gone. Actually, he kind of died similar to what happened to Jack Nicholson's Joker at the end of the first Batman movie, where he fell off a building, and he had this really hideous grin on his face. Although, it's not really Jerome's fault, because, well, you know, his face was all carved up, really weird, like a doll maker got to him or something. I didn't really watch Gotham, but I thought Jerome's run was pretty interesting, and I did catch a lot of stuff after, you know, it aired. And I think the actor did a great job. He's a huge fan of Mark Hamill, both the Arkham Joker, the animated series Joker. He liked Heath Ledger's Joker. And, you know, it was a really good performance. Jerome, you know, a lot of people think, you know, he should have been the Joker, but he wasn't. So, basically, again, spoilers, they did this thing where Jerome had a twin brother, which is a cop-out, but again, it's the same actor playing the Joker. It's Cameron again. And he's doing an incredible job with this new character. So what happens at the end of... I'm trying to remember the name of the episode. A lot of the episodes are based on Batman comic book titles. But Jerome sent his brother a little gift, courtesy of, you know, what the Joker would do, a box of laughing gas with some nasty chemicals inside. So the chemicals scarred the other twin brother, Jeremiah. I'm going to get these two twins confused. And it essentially turned him into the Joker. It screwed up his face. His hair isn't fully green yet. That'll probably happen later in the series, because they are going to do the Joker better in that area. But yeah, it drove him insane, more or less, but we're not really going to talk about that because it's too interesting to spoil. Like, I think you guys should really watch the next 3 episodes of Gotham. And I hate Gotham. I still think it's a terrible show. I think they do horrible things to the lore, but just like Telltale's Batman series, they've done a great job with the characterization of the Joker. And this young actor is phenomenal in the role. So, the current Joker he's playing is more or less the mobster type. It's not the psychopath Joker that we had with Jerome. You know, the one who would joke and laugh. It's not to say that Jeremiah's Joker won't be laughing. There's been some, I believe, images and video of him looking like he's going to laugh. He doesn't even have, like, that massive Joker grin yet. It's just kind of like his face is all white from the chemical exposure that his brother gave him. And he has red lips and kind of red eyes and black under his eyes. So it's kind of a combination of Nicholson's Joker and Hamill's in appearance. He's wearing a purple suit with a fedora of type, and he has like a trench coat, and he's really evil. But he also has some Joker-esque aspects to his personality. In one scene, when Joker is talking with the Penguin, and one of his henchmen has been kidnapped by the Penguin, um, I believe the guy has like a grenade in his mouth or something, according to the trailer. And Jeremiah's just kind of like, "Oh, I see that you have one of my men." And Penguin's like, "Yeah, you better back off." And Jeremiah's like, "Is that so?" And he pulls out a really funny-looking rocket grenade launcher. So, I mean, that is totally something that the Joker would do. And according to a lot of rumors, the show has been renewed, but the fifth season is going to be a reboot. I don't know what this is going to mean for the young Bruce Wayne / Batman, but I believe Joker is going to have a very big role in the series. This is not a character that they're going to kill off because this is the Joker. Jerome's legacy has led to this character, who's going to be more sinister and evil than ever before. And he also has like a very calm demeanor to him. And I like the approach to him. It kind of reminds me of, again, the Nicholson Joker minus the laughter, and the Frank Miller Joker from The Dark Knight Returns. You know, he's a very suave, evil, not necessarily prankster, but he still does some Joker-esque stuff. And of course the character can still progress and get more crazy. Maybe he could fall in a vat of acid and get the green hair. But from what I've seen so far, it's the only thing I like of Gotham, and I still can't watch the show. If it wasn't for Joker's appearance finally in the show, and the twists and turns of this season, the Dark Knight season, with Batman's appearance and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't be this excited. I tried to give the show a shot this year, and I was surprised. In the comment section below, let me know what you think about Gotham's Joker. Next on our list is the DC Universe app, which is coming later this year, which will include not only just the show's Young Justice Outsiders, which is the next season of Young Justice, the Titans show, which I really don't want to talk about because we know what Robin and Hawk and Dove look like. They look pretty cool, but Starfire, Beast Boy, and Raven leave much to be desired. I'm not going to show a picture because DC will definitely sees this video, and this is a podcast of sorts, so that's not going to happen. I am excited about Swamp Thing and the new Harley Quinn animated series. It's been a long time since Swamp Thing was a live-action TV show. The last time I remember seeing a Swamp Thing show was in the 90s on USA Television Network. It wasn't bad. It was true in form to the comic books from the time, and, you know, it featured the main character. There was a reporter character. A lot of the filming took place in the swamp, which makes sense because the character's Swamp Thing. So, you know, there's really not a lot of info based on it. I'm curious about it, and I think it'll be kind of cool. As for Titans, part of me wants to give the show a shot, but if I'm being completely honest, I'm more interested in the Young Justice show and the Harley Quinn animated show. I think that's going to be really fun. And you guys make sure you sign up for the app now. It's called DC Universe app. We don't have a pricing for what the shows are going to be, but this is going to be the only place where you can watch these brand new shows. And DC's set to make a pretty big profit for this. So I'm looking forward to the DC app, and I hope you guys are as well. In comic book related news, it's been brought to my attention that Dick Grayson will return to the Batmantle. This will be happening this summer after Bruce Wayne and Catwoman get married and deal with the Joker. I don't know if this is going to be like a Grant Morrison run or if Nightwing is going to be working with Robin Moore. He will be wearing the Batsuit, and he will be taking over for Bruce while he's away from Gotham, which I think is kind of a cool idea. Remember the Happy Batman and Dark Robin books by Grant Morrison really saved DC Comics almost a decade ago, and it was some of the greatest stories that Batman was involved with, and it was another man under the cape and cowl. Now, Dick Grayson's run as a character, they've already said, is going to be very limited, and it's going to take place after the No Justice arc, but I'm still pretty excited about it. I don't know how many months he will be Batman, but he will no longer be Nightwing for the time being. So I don't know what this means for the Nightwing books, if they're going to do something where There'll be a time skip, and he'll be dealing with that, or he'll be doing his No Justice team. I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff that comic book fans should be very excited for on the DC front. He's also going to be leading his own Justice League team with Amanda Waller, of all people, which is kind of crazy. But in terms of the Batman wedding, I don't really have any problems with Batman marrying Catwoman. I love how DC has been going the route of being more family-oriented, with Superman and his family, minus the guy who's coming in who will probably ruin the Superman mythos, but Dan did a fantastic job with the Superman fatherhood stuff and the relationship between he and his wife Lois Lane again. And the Superman DC Rebirth books have been fantastic for almost, has it been 3 years? It's probably been close to 3 years now. And I really hadn't picked up a Superman book in years. So, I mean, DC was just killing it with the Superman books. And after the 1000th issue that just came out, man, it's made me really think strongly about my allegiance to solely Bat books. And I did buy some Superman books the past couple years, so I'm just letting you people know that happened. And I enjoyed every minute of it. It was great to see the Superman that I grew up with kicking butt again, being heroic, fighting for truth, justice, and the American way again, and just being like this great figure for families, and even having a super son and seeing how he would deal with if his kid would be half human, half Kryptonian. And I think that they've done a fantastic run with those comics, as well as giving Damian a friend. Like, he and John Kent are, like, best friends. Which Damian, you know Damian's a little punk, and he doesn't really get along with anybody. So the Super Son books, which I believe are being canceled, sadly, were great reads and a lot of fun. So, but yeah, a lot to look forward to this summer. Nightwing as Batman again, working with Damian. The Batman wedding, I believe, happening in July, where Joker's going to come and kind of spoil the fun, which we haven't really seen Joker a lot in the comics, so I'm pretty excited about that. And it's a great time to be a comic book Batman fan. I don't know about the other guys. I haven't really been reading Justice League. I finished Dark Knights of Metal recently. Fantastic run. Awesome stuff. And I've been loving the Titans books. Not so much the Teen Titans books, but the Titan books have been fantastic reads as well. So, speaking of Superman, there's a massive rumor going around that a new Superman game, the first one in almost 10 years, is going to be revealed by Rocksteady at E3, and that is the next big thing. And there's been a lot of circulation and concept art that's been leaked over the past year or two, and mummerings and stuff like that. Now, since I'm not a Superman guy, I really don't know more than this. Personally, I would love to see a Batman game, but at the same time, the idea of Rocksteady making a Superman game is pretty exciting, people. So, I mean, if this is true, you might see Superman content more often, and I'll have to really dive into a lot of Superman books and give you lore episodes the way I did with the Arkham games. And Amber likes Superman and stuff like that, so I think we'd have a lot of fun revisiting a lot of Superman comic books and things from the past, like 70s, 80s, and 90s. Not so much the New 52 run, because I couldn't stand that Superman along with a lot of people. He just wasn't my Superman. He was more like Jerkman, and that whole thing with Wonder Woman was just weird. It didn't work. They tried to do that in the Golden Age. It works better that Superman ends up with a normal person, because the interaction that he has with Lois is just incredible. It really adds a lot of depth to the character, and it also makes you feel for him. And he becomes less of like Mr. OP man, and more like, Clark the father and stuff like that. And there's a lot of vulnerabilities to that character when you give him a family, because you know how they write Superman. He's basically invincible and can do whatever he wants, But you give him a family, it puts a lot of things in jeopardy for him, and he really has to be careful about what he does when he's showboating around. So it puts a lot of human aspect to the character, kind of like what they did with Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, starring Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher, when I was a kid. That's still my favorite Superman, because Clark Kent is the man, and Superman is just kind of the suit. Clark just wants to be a normal person. Superman is what he does, it's not who he is. And I feel that Dean Cain and company did a great job with that Superman, when Superman wasn't even in the comics anymore at that point. It was the reign of the Supermen, which you'll see in the upcoming DC animated movie, The Death of Superman, done correctly, where the Justice League will be fighting Doomsday, and then, of course, we'll have the Reign of the Supermen, where Steel, Eradicator, Superboy, and did I say Steel already? I might have. There was like 3 or 4 Superman that came back. All I want to see during the Reign of the Superman is Mullet Superman, because we didn't get him. Henry Cavill teased him, and that didn't happen, nor did Black Suit, so I want to see Black Suit Superman as well. But, yeah, I will definitely be covering the Superman game if it's real, and I'm really hoping that WB Games Montreal will reveal the Batman game that's been in development, although the Damian game, as far as I know, has been canceled, and they're going a different route. Possibly what we talked about a while ago, where Batman and Robin will be working together, and it'll be more like an origin story again, although it'll be the origin of Robin, which I'd be super excited for because I love Grayson's stories, the character's fun, and I think that a tag team dynamic would work very well in a Batman game, especially after it was teased from Rocksteady. And you know that WB Games Montreal just kind of rips the engine from the Rocksteady games to make their Batman game. Case in point, Arkham Origins. So, you know, if this is true, then it's a pretty exciting time to be a DC fan. And also Marvel, because you got that Spider-Man game coming out, which basically is the Arkham engine. So, there you go. But enough of that. Now it's time for the Now Playing section, and we're going to kick things off with a brand new review. Raging Justice is a 3D beat-em-up done in the style of Final Fight and Streets of Rage for your Nintendo Switch, and it's really fun. Brought to you by X-Rare developers and team members. You play as 2 ex-cops, Nikki and Justice. Your mission is clean up the streets with your fists, or with lawnmowers and whatever weapons you can find. And yes, I said lawnmowers. This game is rated T for teen and is coming out to the Nintendo Switch tomorrow, and we'll have full gameplay impressions on my channel, K-Wings Let's Plays, on Tuesday. This game is definitely a classic throwback to arcade brawlers, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you love mindless beat-em-up goodness, check out Raging Justice for the Switch. As far as the games that we are currently playing, I'm doing a lot with Marvel Strike Force and just unlocked some new characters, the Hulk, over the weekend, and Iron Fist, and I'm still going for Thanos, but I haven't been successful unlocking the character yet. Most have been playing a lot of raids and blitzes and making sure that I get my daily Wolverine shards so I can make my character super OP. I'm really close to my characters being an attack level of 10, which would give me a lot of benefits later in the game. And for a free-to-play RPG, I would say that Marvel Strike Force is actually really good. I like the humor, I like the gameplay, and I play it at least an hour and a half a day on my cell phone, usually while I'm editing videos from midnight until about 3 a.m. And it's just a tremendous amount of fun. The other biggest game that we're currently playing right now is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and it is, what can I say, it's driving us bananas, but in a good way. Amber and I are having a blast playing that game. We recorded a bunch of episodes and been posting about one a day on our Let's Play channel, shameless plug, and it's been an absolute blast. We're playing Funky Mode, which allows us to take Funky Kong for a spin, and the character makes the game a lot easier. What I find funny about the whole Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze stuff is there are a lot of game reviewers that are giving this game a much higher score than when it was on the Wii U. In fact, the Wii U score sat around 5 to 6, whereas on the Switch, I don't know if it's because of Funky Mode or whatever, but the game is getting like 9.5s across the board. And keep in mind, this is the same game that released 4 years ago. GameSpot has done it, IGN has kind of like given it a higher score, and as my wife puts it, it's because they're graphic mongers, and I have to agree with that, because the game is pretty much the same. Like, the frame rate has been sped up, so it plays beautifully on the Nintendo Switch, like both docked and, portable. Whereas the Wii U game had some frame rate issues and some slowdowns, but it was still a fantastic game to play. Funky Mode makes the game really interesting. It's not too difficult to amass a huge amount of lives, and if you want to play it the traditional way, you can. just playing with Donkey Kong and the little Kongs and stuff like that, but the difficulty is still just what it was. Funky allows you to get lots more lives. You can't do team-up moves, which is kind of a bummer, but again, it would make the game super OP to have your little friends jump on Funky Kong when he can already use his surfboard to stand on spikes, double jump, helicopter float, all kinds of stuff. But the game is fantastic. We release new episodes every day of that game, and it's just how we used to do Let's Plays back in the day. We've had a lot of fun with it, and it's just, I don't know, it makes me want to go ape. It's just so much fun. I don't know if we'll be looking at Hyrule Warriors again. We would like to try to find some trendy games to do, but I can't see myself doing Fortnite. I don't know how that would work, you know? But, yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I'm still playing that one game that we did a review on the first KnightCast episode, the Code Mirai game, and we're currently doing a Let's Play of that as well. Although I believe that game is like a heavy T rating, so it's part of our K-Teen block, which is very, very late at night. And I believe we'll be working with Natsumi later this month to bring you the new Harvest Moon game. I don't know if that's definite yet, but I know Amber really wants to play that game, so we'll see what happens with that. And that wraps up the Now Playing section. Bane called in with a cold today, so there's no traffic report with Bane, unfortunately. And mailbag is still pretty small, so if you guys want to send your questions to me to read on the air, just add hashtag KnightCast at Kwing Reviews on Twitter, and I will be sure to read your questions on the air. Now, I already kind of answered this question a little bit, but this comes from Virtue. It's our only question today. Writes, Kwing, what are your opinions on Batman White Knight and Batman and Catwoman getting married? Well, I already talked about the Batman and Catwoman marriage, how I'm cool with it. I think that it's going to bring a whole new dynamic to the Bat family, like really focusing and spotlighting on the family aspect, and I'm looking forward to it. It's something new and fresh that hasn't been done with the character in 80 years. He has been engaged before, he's had romances, but he's never made a full commitment because, like in the Justice League show with Kevin Conroy, the reason why he never dated Diana from, you know, that show, the whole pairing of Wonder Woman and Batman, is he was worried that his arch enemies would get to the woman that he loved, which would make dating and a really serious relationship a problem. Although Wonder Woman kind of squandered that idea by showing that she's super strong, and, you know, Batman just kind of ignores her and uses his grapple and gets away. But he also almost married Lois Lane. She was really serious with him in that crossover episode, which is a fantastic episode, the Batman-Superman movie, where Lois Lane almost ended up with Bruce Wayne. And that was his only other serious relationship, except for Andrea Beaumont from the Mask of the Phantasm / Batman Beyond series. But, of course, nothing ever came of that, and Batman was a loner, you know, just having a butler and a kid to raise. Which is kind of sad, but yeah, I think the Catwoman marriage is going to be a great asset to the comic books, and she's actually going to get her own solo book as well, dealing with being Mrs. Wayne and how that's going to affect her being a somewhat criminal / anti-hero, you know. But if Bruce is happy, I say more power to DC. It's really helping DC reverse sales, and it's bringing in a lot of interesting readers for the Batman comic books. Outside of Detective Comics, which is terrible, I don't want to talk about it, and I do not suggest you pick it up. That or the Batgirl books. The Batgirl books are just social justice nightmare, and it makes me really upset to see Babs, like, used in this way, because she's a fantastic character, and she deserves better stories, better supervillains, less whining, and less, you know, agenda-based stories, if I'm being just completely honest. Off the record, all that fun stuff. But yeah, that wraps up your mailbag. Thank you for sending your stuff in, Virtue. Again, send it at hashtag KnightCast on Twitter, at Kwing Reviews, and I'll be sure to answer your questions, whatever they are. You guys can ask me about Marvel, DC, Batman video games, comic books, TV shows, whatever, and I'll be sure to answer them. And as we close today, I just want to let you guys know that there's going to be a classic direction for this channel. based on conversations with K-Bro and Amber. Commentary Batman lore, which is just simple commentary, me talking about Batman. It's going to be happening a couple times a week, starting by the end of May. Whether or not there'll be a new Batman game or not, I don't know. Yep, that's right, Shadow. So there'll be Batman commentary videos with Arkham or Arkham Origins gameplay with me talking about various Batman things like back in the day. These are going to be very simple videos for me to create and share my knowledge with you guys. I'm inspired to read a lot of Batman stuff again, and I'm committed to this project. As for Batman reviews on comic books and movies, animated stuff, those videos will be locked on my Patreon, but you'll only need to pay $1 or whatever you feel the video is worth to unlock it, because we won't get any revenue from the video on YouTube because it will be copyright claimed. Anything DC animated, again, seems to get copyright claim, not striked. But knowing that I have currently 16 patrons, it makes me inspired to work on reviews again for Batman content. And if I were to get like 100 patrons, like at the end of the week or something, that would be amazing. But yeah, that pretty much does it. Thank you so much for listening to another KnightCast. The show will eventually be an hour. We'll have developer guests. Maybe Amber will be on the show once in a while. Whatever. But I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Check out the new Joker in Gotham. This is non-sponsored. This Thursday, where he is going to basically probably become the Joker full-time, like with the grin and the laughter and all that other stuff, because the actor has said on Twitter and all this other stuff that he loves playing the character, and this version of the definitive Joker for the Gotham show, he has a lot that he can play with. He is starting with the classic, Jack Nicholson version, the mob boss, with a little bit of fun and levity, but mostly very serious. He has a very dark plan to blow up Gotham and remodel it in his image. Some pretty chilling stuff, and if you're a fan of Gotham and just the Batman mythos, they're heavily borrowing a lot of stuff from The Killing Joke and the Arkham run and No Man's Land, so check out Gotham. I can't believe I'm saying that. But anyway, guys, that does it. Music's playing. Thank you so much for watching KnightCast. Until we meet again, Gothamites, God bless. Happy gaming. I will see you guys soon with a Batman commentary lore video. Until we meet again, God bless and happy gaming.